Welcome to Football Forecast Weekly, the most popular football program in America, featuring Dennis Tobler and Fred Wallen.
Welcome, everyone, to Football Forecast Weekly. My name's Dennis Tobler. I'm at Bet Central in Las Vegas. As usual, we're going to be bringing you the selections for Week 15 in the NFL. But first, I wanted to make a comment on something. Las Vegas has become not only the betting capital of this country, but also the sports capital of this country. Over the weekend, I was able to see an old high school classmate of mine. We graduated 53 years ago from high school. Bill Howard and his wife, Kathy, were here to visit. They were taking in the Creighton basketball games. They're from Omaha, Nebraska. So Las Vegas is the ultimate point to come to. And I must say, they played at Michelob Ultra Arena. We have so many arenas in Las Vegas now, we can hold 5 basketball tournaments at one given time. So living in Las Vegas is great. It was great to see Bill and Kathy Howard. And I tell you what, all you people out there, get a hold of me when you come to town because I love to catch up on the past. All right, now it's time to bring our famous guest star onto the show, a Hall of Famer in everybody's book, the sports radio talk hero of the world, Mr. Fred Wallen. Fred, I don't have enough really compliments for you because what you do is tremendous. And we know you just voted on the Heisman Trophy last week. We're going to discuss more of that as we go into time, as time comes. But for now, welcome to the show. How was your weekend?
My weekend was fine. Let me just say something. As time flies, you brought up Creighton. Of course, we lost Paul Silas this week. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom and dad took me to the sports arena to watch UCLA versus Creighton and Paul Silas. So it was, it's a small world. That's all I can tell you. And time certainly flies.
It certainly is. I was so happy to see, man. We played football together. We were on the state championship 11-man team in Nebraska in 1968. So we rehashed all of our great wins, and it was a great time. All right, let's get into some NFL football. Are you ready, Fred?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, let's take a look. We've got Saturday games for the next few weeks, folks. And as we wind down the NFL season, you don't want to take it too seriously the last 2 weeks of the year. This is probably the last week you're going to get serious play from serious teams trying to make it in. The last 2 weeks you're going to find is going to be fell apart. And they're going to rest injured players. All right, first off, Baltimore's on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland's a 3-point favorite. 37.5 is the total.
Well, the problem here, of course, for the Ravens, we're a third-string quarterback. Anthony Brown from Oregon is going to probably play in this one against Deshaun Watson. I got to figure Deshaun Watson's going to maybe find himself after 3 weeks. So we'll see. It's a short number. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns in game number 2 on Saturday.
I kind of agree. I think Watson will get better with some more repetitions and a little bit more confidence and some of the press off of his tail. And I think 3 is a low number. Actually, it's been bouncing back and forth between 2.5 and 3. So we might get 2.5 if we wanted to on this one. The under looks good, except for Baltimore can't stop anybody. The total went from 41 to 37, but I'm not going to take it because Baltimore can't stop anybody. The next game I'm going to make easy for you, Fred. The next game's the Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 4-point home favorites here. The total on this game went up from last week 46 to now 49. And I'm going to make it easy because I'm going to play the over on this one. I've already played the over on this one. I look for it to go into the 50s by game time. So it's Minnesota -4 and 49.
All right. Last week, Kirk Cousins threw for 400-plus yards against Detroit, and they still managed to lose. This week, he'll throw for 300-plus against the Colts. On the other side, since Minnesota can't stop anybody, Matt Ryan might throw for 300 himself. So I see a 34-27 game or something in that range. So it's going over. I think it's going way over. And the people watching on the NFL Network are going to be quite happy because people like scoring. They're going to see a lot in this encounter.
I believe so. This might be one of the highest scoring games of the year in the NFL. 49, such a small total number. They might reach that at halftime. All right. The final game on Saturday is the Miami Dolphins back from their 2 West Coast road trip games, which they didn't fare very well. And they are on the road to play the Buffalo Bills. We tabbed it last week. The Bills were not going to be able to cover, and the weather would be part of the problem. And it was, and they didn't cover. The Bills are 7.5-point home favorites here, Fred.
I don't have a strong opinion on this game because, again, we're not going to know about the weather until the day hits Saturday. But the bottom line is, have you ever seen any NFL quarterback, any NFL quarterback plays poorly as Tua did on Sunday night? I've never seen anything like this. Again, it wasn't, he couldn't hit anybody. So you wonder if he's hurt in some way, some capacity. On the other side, he's going to play better this week if he's not hurt. So there's no way you can make a real strong prediction on this. 43 is going to be a low number if it's not raining and snowing. But in Buffalo, you never know. So bottom line is Fred's going to have to pass on this.
Oh, it's a tough game. And when you don't know the weather ahead of time, it's a really tough game. The Bills keep getting the money bet on them here in Las Vegas, but they don't cover. They were off to a bang start on the season, but no longer. I think Allen has a little problem with his elbow. He's off on some throws too. Now, Tua, I don't know about Tua for sure. He played some outstanding games, which blew my mind. And I'm not willing to say that he's a first-class quarterback because of those games. So I wasn't too worried about that. In this matchup, I'm with you. The total on the game's 42 or 43. I'm going to play the over. I can't take Miami plus the 7.5 because just what you said with Tua, and they don't play well on the road. They just don't. It's going to be colder than hell too. So let's see what happens there. All right. We'll be back in a minute with Fred's analysis, and he's going to tell us who he voted on for the Heisman Trophy. But before we do, I want everybody out there to write this down. Playfortickets.com. All right. This is our promo to send you to Glendale, Arizona to the Super Bowl and give you $50,000 spending money. It's on playfortickets.com. Remember that. Write it down if you're on the audio podcast. Playfortickets.com. Pick all 7 games, side and total, and you're on your way to Glendale Super Bowl. We'll be back with more in 1 second.
Now place your bets. This groundbreaking film details the dramatic rise of legal sports betting in Las Vegas and its growth into a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. Through in-depth interviews, personal accounts, and vintage footage, we highlight the key elements and milestones that shaped the sports betting industry into what it is today. This history also dovetails with the changing fortunes of Las Vegas as a gambling town at turns overseen by the elements of organized crime, corporate interests, and the U.S. government. Featured prominently in the film are pioneer odds makers and historians who witnessed these events. Today, betting on sports is a popular pastime and a lifestyle choice for many Americans. Its appeal incorporates the innate drive for competition and the rewards of winning. Watch Now Place Your Bets on Amazon Prime and NowPlaceYourBets.com.
If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you what your case is potentially worth. Hello, I'm Gina, along with spokesperson Rob. Rob, tell the folks at home who should be calling right now.
Well, just like you said, Gina, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, give us a call right now, and we're going to let you know what your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Rob. So what kind of calls have we been seeing today?
Well, Gina, we're getting calls from all types of accidents today. Work accidents, slip and falls, truck accidents, and most commonly, car accidents. So if you were injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, take that first step, pick up that phone and give us a call. We're going to answer your questions and we'll let you know how much money you can get for your accident.
Thanks, Rob. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Go ahead, don't hesitate, take that first step and call now.
If you or a loved one developed ovarian cancer after using baby powder or talcum powder products, call now to see if you qualify for financial compensation. A major manufacturer of baby and talcum powder products has been found liable for $4.7 billion in damages because they knowingly sold products containing cancer-causing asbestos. There may be time deadlines, so don't wait. It costs you nothing if you don't win.
Call 800-315-5712.
Most doctors recommend daily walks because of the many health benefits associated with walking. But how do you get healthy circulation boosting activity without leaving your chair? With Legzercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way. Soothe pain and calm restless legs. Reduce swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet and stimulate healthy circulation. Stay active with Legzercise Pro.
Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. And now it's time for our guest star to tell us all about the Heisman Trophy voting. We're lucky enough to have a man of Fred's caliber on the show. He voted for the Heisman Trophy this year, as he has for many prior years. So he's one of the guys that makes these decisions. Fred, tell us a little bit about how it works, if you vote on more than one person, if you put them in order, and who you voted for and what you think of the outcome.
I've had the vote for 40 years since I started local radio here in
Wow,
Southern
that's what I
California.
mean.
My good friend, a great sportscaster who's passed now, Chuck Benedict, became friends, and he was see, every area at that point had their local guy that would make the decisions, and then he put the people on that he liked, and we became very good friends. And then now it's different. I didn't get one call from the local guy who passed away last year. I know I wasn't getting a call from him, but I mean, I think now it's just a national thing. All right, so the bottom line is you vote for three, and that guy, the guy that you have to vote for, number one, gets 3 points, then 2 points, and then 1 point. Yes, I voted for Caleb Williams of USC. I thought he's proven that at Oklahoma and this year for USC that he is the best quarterback out there, and I think the best player out there. And even though the loss to Utah when he was hurt, he still battled through that. You can't ask for much more from an athlete. So I voted for Caleb, but then I voted for J.J. McCarthy of Michigan in that second slot because, again, he had to battle for that first spot as a quarterback, even with the Wolverines. And I don't think he's done anything wrong all season long. Look at his numbers, touchdowns versus interceptions. And third, anybody that has to play for Chip Kelly for 5 years deserves my vote. So I voted for DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So I had the winner. I didn't have the second or third guy, but I knew that. I just wanted Dorian Thompson-Robinson to get at least one vote because he stood tough under dire circumstances with Chip Kelly at UCLA. So those were my votes.
Interesting. You vote on three players. Your top one gets 3, 2, and 1 down the line. They add them all up, and that's how the Heisman's decided. You, of course, picked a winner, but after 40 years of doing this, Fred, you have to be one of the most knowledgeable people in college sports that there is in this country. What a pleasure to have you on the show. All right, let's get back to the NFL. Oh, look, I'm gonna swamp you with compliments because nobody else has you. All right, I think we'll get going on the NFL now. The Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints. I understand we have a time change on the Sunday night game again. So the first game on the board I'm looking at is Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are 4-point home favorites here. Kind of a tough one.
But you know what? A lot of conversation that Sean Payton might come back to the Saints. The players hear this. The players see this. Based on that, I'm going with Atlanta, even though they're switching quarterbacks again. I just have a hunch that it's all over for Dennis Allen in New Orleans. That's all. And it's not necessarily his fault. This isn't a great team. Take a look at the quarterback situation scenario and the whole ball of wax. But Dennis, you've played sports growing up. I've played sports growing up. You know a lot of the athletes. I know a lot of the athletes. When they hear that Sean Payton may leave television and go back to the Saints, are they going to play 100%? And again, as you indicated opening the show, these teams aren't in the playoffs, aren't going to the playoffs. So it's basically a preseason encounter anyways. So I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons and the points.
Sounds good to me. I haven't seen New Orleans do that much this year, and they just can't coordinate their quarterbacks together. I think it's the coach's fault. I'm going to take the 4 points here too with Atlanta. They played fairly well all year, and who cares who the quarterbacks are at this time of the year? All right, let's move on to another one. The red hot Detroit Lions, I have to give them credit. They are red hot. They are 1 point favorites on the road at the New York Jets this week. Now, first of all, I want to say this line has been going back and forth from Detroit 1 to pick to the Jets 1. So whatever the line may be at kickoff time will probably depend on the weather or whether the action comes in more on Detroit. So basically a pick 'em game here. The Jets are the home team.
Well, we don't know if Mike White's going to play. And again, that makes it rather difficult because when he's played the last couple of games, he's played exceptionally well. But we're not 100%. He's going to be 100%. He got hit very, very hard last week. But I'm going to take Detroit. Hard Knocks will be happy with that. Dan Campbell will be happy with that. Dan Campbell has solidified his position with the Lions. And Goff played as well as you can. I don't know if that counts because it's against Minnesota. But he threw for 300-something yards in that victory. And Detroit's not doing anything wrong. And I'm going to say something else. I play fantasy. Jamal Williams did not have a great game against Minnesota. Usually when a very good running back does not have a great game one time, the next week he plays much better. If you're playing fantasy, I would get him in my lineup because I don't think the Jets are going to be able to stop him in this circumstance. So I'm going to lean a little bit toward the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to lean with Detroit too. They're the hot team, and I think they believe in themselves. And I know White may not be back. I mean, and if he is, he may get hurt just like the Arizona quarterback did in the first series of plays. So you got to take what you got to take here. I'm taking the hot team, Detroit, and we'll get to the winner's circle with that one, I believe. Okay, here's another interesting one. Let's just take a half a minute to discuss. Kansas City Chiefs did not cover again last week as a big number. They're 14-point favorites on the road against Houston this week. I don't care how bad Houston is. They will cover 14 against Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs. Your turn.
Last week, the Chiefs up 27-0. And as you indicated, they managed not to cover. End of story. I'm not wagering one way or the other. I'm not going to ever get more than double digits, but into double digits. But you can't in this case. You blew a 27-point lead, guys. Now, the other side, the over, they may score a lot of points. So if I'm going to lean anywhere, it's going to be on the over. But I'm not giving 14 in Kansas City after seeing what we saw last week. And I didn't wager one way or the other on that one. But if I had wagered on Kansas City, I'd have gone to lunch and I come back a loser when I thought I was a winner. And that might be Andy Reid. I don't know, but it was a hard one to watch.
It's Andy Reid. The total went from 46 to 49.5. That's enough for me. With your advice, I'm taking the over on this one too. We'll be right back with more Football Forecast Weekly in just one moment.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $297. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $297. Plus, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $297 and free shipping.
800-854-2762. Again, that's 800-854-2762.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a lot of games to get through. The time schedule has changed again this week. The Raiders and the New England Patriots will be playing the afternoon game, not the evening game, as was prior scheduled. So be aware of that. The Patriots on the road are 1-point favorites against our Las Vegas Raiders. Fred, how do you see it?
Our Las Vegas Raiders. They had they had a little bit of a good run, but let's be realistic here. I'm going with the Patriots. And again, this year in the National Football League, Dennis, you followed it since you were a kid. I followed it since I was a kid. It's just totally nuts. You watch the quarterback screaming at the coaching staff, and they still win. But you got Belichick, and if you're talking about a coaching mismatch, you just think about this: right? McDaniel on one side and Belichick on the other. I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. And I think last week's game showed that Arizona, even though Murray got hurt in the first series of downs, Kingsbury was out-coached every step of the way. Kingsbury's going to be fired at the end of the year. And you just can't give up on Belichick, no matter how lousy the play calling is. And I think it's lousy. I think they were lucky to win that game. They're going to have their hands full here playing the Raiders. This is the last straw for the Raiders. If they don't win this game, they're going to lose their fan base, okay? I mean, these are fair weather fans in Vegas. We're only used to having people come through here once in a while. We like to win, so I'm not so sure. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders in the flyer here because I don't think that New England's going to win 2 games in a row on the road. All right, now let's get to the late Sunday night game. That game is the New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 5-point home favorites here. The Giants laid an egg. They still have a shot at it, but Washington's red hot.
That's it. You got teams going in opposite directions. The Giants going down, the Commanders doing everything right. I think they've won 6 out of 7 or 5-1-1. They had that one tie, of course. The bottom line is I think I'm going to take the Commanders. Again, Heineke's done nothing wrong. This team's defense is better than people thought going into the season. So a slight lean and not a major lean toward the Commanders in this one.
I'm going to agree with you in this one here. I think the Commanders are playing very well. I think home field is a good benefit to them. I don't like the New York Giants quarterback. I don't like the offense they run. They're tough on defense, but on the road, they don't have that working for them. The weather may be bad there in Washington too, and I think Washington can do better in bad weather. I'm going to take Washington and lay the 5 points here. The Giants, the Jets, and some of these other teams that played well all through the first part of the year are playing poorer now. You have to be aware of that. And you have to watch out for teams like Jacksonville, we'll be talking about in the next segment too, because they're starting to play better. And you need to pay real close attention to the line moves this time of the year. So we'll be back with more games in just a minute. We'll have the Monday night matchup. Dennis Tobler here with Fred Wallen, Football Forecast Weekly. Stay tuned.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $297. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not 1, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $297. Plus, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $297 and free shipping.
800-854-2762. Again, that's 800-854-2762.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new, clinically proven Legzercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
After using Legzercise for a week, I felt like I wanted to go for a walk again without pain like I used to.
Legzercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
It's helped with the swelling and the pain. The tingling feeling is gone.
Call right now and order your very own Legzercise Pro, the clinically proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. And now we're going to take a look at the Monday night matchup. Very, very interesting game. The Los Angeles Rams on the road to take on the Green Bay Packers. You know, we know that Everett's out at quarterback for the Rams, but we know the third team quarterback can play. Aaron Ego, of course, has had his day. This line last week was 9. It's 7 now. So people are betting on the Rams. They thought they looked good enough to win. What do you think, Fred? I mean, the miracle pulled in LA last week was something else.
All right, so you know the story at this point, folks. Mayfield gets released, gets picked up. He's got like 48 hours to learn everything. They're on the 2-yard line with a minute and a half to go, and he pulls a touchdown. Now, again, part of it was some mistakes, certainly by the opposition, but the point is still, it was a miracle. And let me tell you something. I did the post-game show for the Dodger Radio Network the night Kirk Gibson hit the home run against Oakland. And if this had been a playoff game, the Rams last week, this would go down in history as one of the most astounding miracles anybody's ever seen. I mean, I'm going to say it again. They were down by 2 touchdowns. They score 1. Now on a 2-yard line, 98-yard drive, a quarterback who's just walked in after 48 hours getting ready. He's got the plays on his hand. He only calls certain plays, and they drive 98 yards. It was a miracle. Not going to matter, obviously. The Rams are doomed, and they're not going anywhere this year. But still, if it had been a playoff game, Dennis, I don't know if you could top this, to tell you the truth. I mean, it just was unbelievable. And congratulations to Mayfield. The question here, though, the weather in Green Bay. You know what it is in December in Green Bay. That's going to make a major difference. If it's clear, I'm going over, even without the wide receivers for the Rams. If it's not clear, I'm going to have to pass. But it should be quite a interesting Monday night encounter.
Yeah, the total on this was pretty low. They don't expect much scoring in it, 39.5. But I do think the weather is going to be bad up there, and they don't have any choice but to play in it. I agree with you. I think it was one of the most amazing situational football innings I've seen in my life. All right. I mean, Baker Mayfield has taken guff ever since he got out of college. Honestly, he won the Heisman Trophy and he was the #1 draft choice. Okay. So he goes and plays. And of course, no #1 draft choice immediately meets their expectations. So he goes away. They get rid of him. Carolina waives him. Somehow now Carolina's better after waiving him, but he puts it together on the airplane and comes there, learns the playbook, throws the plays, and drives 98 yards against a tough defense for a win. It was absolutely amazing. I don't know. I might just take the Rams plus the 7 here. I think I will. I think the weather will be bad, and at the end of the day, the Rams pack a tough defense, and maybe Aaron Donald will be back. That would be the key if he comes back. So I'm going to take him, root against Aaron Ego, and ride with the Rams.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $297. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not 1, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $297. Plus, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $297 and free shipping.
800-854-2762. Again, that's 800-854-2762.
If you or a loved one developed ovarian cancer after using baby powder or talcum powder products, call now to see if you qualify for financial compensation. A major manufacturer of baby and talcum powder products has been found liable for $4.7 billion in damages because they knowingly sold products containing cancer-causing asbestos. There may be time deadlines, so don't wait. It costs you nothing if you don't win.
Call 800-315-5712.
If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you what your case is potentially worth. Hello, I'm Gina, along with spokesperson Rob. Rob, tell the folks at home who should be calling right now.
Well, just like you said, Gina, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, give us a call right now, and we're going to let you know what your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Rob. So what kind of calls have we been seeing today?
Well, Gina, we're getting calls from all types of accidents today. Work accidents, slip and falls, truck accidents, and most commonly, car accidents. So if you were injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, take that first step, pick up that phone and give us a call. We're going to answer your questions and we'll let you know how much money you can get for your accident.
Thanks, Rob. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Go ahead, don't hesitate, take that first step and call now.
Listen up, football fans. For this week's best bets, call us at 1-888-604-6863. That's 1-888-604-6863. Be a winner. 888-604-6863. Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly. I'm Dennis Tobler here with Fred Wallen. We are approaching the middle part of the schedule now. Let's get into these games. Philadelphia Eagles, 9-point favorites on the road to play the Chicago Bears. 49's a total here. The Philadelphia Eagles, I will say this. I told everyone when the beginning of the season started that the wise guys were coming out of the woodwork to bet on the win total for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they certainly hit it and had it nailed. One more win puts all the money in their pocket. The win total started at 8 or 9 or 10. I can't remember for sure, but they've already won 11 games and they'll win 2 of the last 3 for sure. So the wise guys were right. If you would have faded Philadelphia, you would have lost. Best not fade them here, even though they're 9-point road favorites. I don't think Chicago has the offense to stay up. I'm going to take Philadelphia. I think they're on their way to the Super Bowl.
You know, Dennis, you take a look at Smith, Brown as wide receivers, Sanders as the running back. And right now, folks, you may not believe this, right now, Jalen Hurts is the number 1 rated, based on the analytics and the numbers, quarterback in the National Football League. And the other side of it, we don't know if Justin Fields is going to be 100%. They had the last week off, which might make a difference. Slight lean toward the Eagles, but not a major one because, again, anything can happen in Chicago. The weather can be bad. So we'll go on that. But again, the wise guys definitely were right. This team has a shot going all the way.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I give the Bears no credence at all, especially if Fields is out. I don't like what the Bears have done all year. They just can't win. They're just not winners there. All right, let's go on to another Pennsylvania matchup. I'm sure we'll be hearing from our pals in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh Steelers on the road to play a rejuvenated Carolina Panthers. That's all I can say about them. The Panthers went 2.5, 3-point favorites at home now. It may go back to 2.5, but Pittsburgh's quarterback's hurt. And the Carolina Panthers, I watched them play. I reviewed that entire game. They're really playing good football.
Sam Darnold from USC, of course, has taken over there. As you indicated, he's playing well. Team is playing well. I think it's a short number. Pickett's out, as you said. Trubisky's in, and nothing wrong with Trubisky, but the hunch is that the Panthers will keep the positive going, and I'm going with Carolina in the short number here.
Yeah, I think it's a really short number. They've played so well on the road, and they can run the ball so well that I think that's a short number. I'm looking for 2.5. I know we got some of it at -2, but it quickly went from 2 to 2.5, and it was 3 this morning. So we do the show early in the week. We try to get you the very first line, so you have to keep your eyes on them as the week goes through. Okay, we'll move on down the line to the Dallas Cowboys now. And boy, what a Jekyll and Hyde team they are. The Cowboys, 5-point road favorites at the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team that is just impossible to figure out. Last week, I could not believe that the money kept coming in on Jacksonville on the road. I couldn't believe it, but it did. Okay, the lines even kept dropping, going Jacksonville's way. Couldn't see it. At the end of the day, somebody's seen it because Jacksonville killed on the road. I just didn't see it coming. They're playing much better now. They're playing with confidence now. I'll tell you right now, it's so funny about the Cowboys. They barely won the game, and it was Dak Prescott threw a lucky pass, and Ezekiel Elliott runs a late touchdown in to make the headlines in the newspaper. But actually, both of them suck, and they should have won that game they were 17-point favorites, and they barely won the game straight up. I have no confidence in Dallas as a franchise, in Dallas's number one players. I'm going to play against Dallas most of the time. I'm going to play against them here. I'm going to take the red-hot Jacksonville Jaguars plus the 5 points. And look, either the coach or the overpaid players on the Cowboys have ruined the football playing morale there. They don't play as a team. I think they play just to pad statistics. That's what I'm going to say about Dallas. They have so many good players wanting to pad their statistics. They can't put a team together that's going to rock and roll. So I'm going to go against Dallas this week. I'm going to take Jacksonville. Never thought I would. Plus 5, but I'm going to.
Doug Peterson and the folks in Philadelphia, I think, would agree. He's a pretty darn good coach, and he's got this team playing well. Trevor Lawrence has found his way. There's no reason you shouldn't take the points against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are making a mistake. I don't think the ball carriers in Pollard and Ezekiel should split it 50-50. I think Pollard should see the ball more often because he can go all the way on any play from scrimmage. He scored 2 touchdowns. Elliott scored the 1. And yes, I had Pollard in fantasy. I wish he had scored 3. But the point is, maybe he deserves 60% and Elliott 40. But we talked about this all the time. Team camaraderie. You want to keep Elliott, the great player at Ohio State. You want to keep him happy. So you're splitting it down the middle, even though in my mind, they're hurting themselves by doing so. So slight lean toward Jacksonville in this.
Yeah, I think they're hurting themselves that way too. And I'm going to go back to Cooper Rush, the quarterback. I think he's every bit as good as Dak. Look, Dak threw 2 interceptions. Dallas should have lost the game last week. It would be different write-ups in the newspapers if it would have happened that way. It was just 2 interceptions that got him in the hole. So he makes one pass and gets him out of the hole. All of a sudden he's a hero. No, I don't like the Cowboys. Don't like anything about them. I'm taking Jacksonville. Well, we have another real barn burner here, and I'm sure you have an opinion. It's the Arizona Cardinals without Kyler Murray. I know he's going to be out the rest of the year. I don't care what they say. Against the Denver Broncos, and Russell's going to be out for a while. So we've got 2 teams here that can't score, and one of them can't play defense either. The Broncos opened 2-point favorites, went to a pick, and then Arizona happened to play their game last week against played a lousy game, and Murray gets hurt. So now the line is 3. So the Denver Broncos are 3-point home favorites against the Arizona Cardinals this week. And it's a tough one. The total is only 36. Not many points will be scored. Also, there's a blizzard in Denver today. I don't know what it's going to be like in 3 or 4 days. So that has to be taken into consideration too. Arizona cannot play in bad weather.
Let me say this. Again, I think the Cardinals have given up. Again, they were on the second side of Hard Knocks, but I think they've given up. You saw them last week. Obviously, and the other side of it, Rypien is not a bad quarterback. He's the nephew, of course, of Mark Rypien. We don't know much about Brett, but he's an awfully young quarterback, and he played well when he got the opportunity for Denver last week. They made the comeback, not enough, of course. You knew they were going to lose in the end. I think I'm going to lean a little bit toward the Denver Broncos here. That sounds like crazy because, again, They don't exactly have the world's best coach either. As you indicated earlier, Kingsbury's gone. He's not coming back next year, and I doubt Hackett will either. Although they've sort of stood behind him, management has in Denver. So barring a blizzard, I'm taking slight lean toward the Denver Broncos. I don't know what Russell Wilson's going to feel if his backup pulls out a victory, but I think a slight lean toward Denver.
I agree with you with Ripien too, and give the guys some time to play. You know, I mean, Russell hadn't been doing anything. If he can turn something, get that team sparked a little bit, because they're really in the doldrums when Russell was playing. That's all there was to it. And actually, he's the young one. Ripien came in and scored the touchdowns last week that kept it within the number against Kansas City. So this might be a lot stronger play than people want to look at, because Denver should be able to run the ball. They have a great defense. That's something that Arizona does not have. So I'm with you. This might be one of the stronger plays. It's hidden in the schedule. Nobody cares about it, but Denver -3 looks to be strong. Look, that line could go down too, as you hear injury reports. I doubt it, but it could. And 2.5 would be gold mine there. Okay. The Tennessee Titans seem to be running out of steam, even though they run a lot, are up against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 3-point home favorites here. The Chargers, if they had a decent coach, would be a really strong team.
But they don't. Let's go, Brandon. But they pulled out the victory this weekend. Congratulations. Over 500. The over is 45, 45.5, depending on when you're looking at and where you're looking. I think it's going to go over. I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to stop Henry. And as indicated, the Titans are not playing well at all, but they're very well coached. And I just don't think I can see them taking a deep dive. So I think Tennessee's going to score some points, and I think it's going to go over. I don't have an opinion one way or the other as far as the outcome, as far as winning. Chargers field goal favorite. With Brandon, I can't make them a favorite anywhere, to tell you the truth. But on the other side, Tennessee's playing poorly. I'm just going over, figuring that Henry will score a couple of touchdowns. The Chargers have both wide receivers back, Dennis, in Allen and Williams. And obviously Williams made a big difference last weekend. So I think we're going to go with the over 45.5 as I see it now.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I don't think the Tennessee Titans can run to a victory here. And I think the Chargers quarterback, Herbert, is one of the best. And when he has time, now his hand is healed. I believe his hand, his wrist, what was ailing him earlier in the year has healed. He looked absolutely fantastic last week. I think he completed 30 out of 31 passes or something like that. Or
39 for 51. It was astounding.
39 for 51 or something. He had a hell of a game. And he's going to be able to pick any team apart if he has a little time. So if he's got some time here, it's an easy Charger win in my view. But with the total only 46 and 45, I think it's going to go over too. I mean, my goodness, I think the Chargers can score in the 30s against Tennessee. I'm not sure Tennessee can run the ball enough to keep up. One week I say the quarterback's okay. The next week I say the quarterback's not. So the quarterback may fall on him for Tennessee. What's his name?
Tannehill.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, he played like an all-pro. Last week, he played like a rookie. So, I mean, he's on the road this week. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think the Chargers with a real coach that doesn't do stupid things would really move them along, would move them up a lot in the standings, because they don't even know what they're doing half the time, where they're coming from, whether he's going to go for it on 4th and 4 on the 40. I mean, the team needs to have some kind of consistency to it too. Puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So I'm going to take the Chargers here. I think Tennessee's done. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And they had their chance and blew it. Well, we've got one more game on the schedule and a lot of time left to talk about it. So we might talk about some other things when we end this game. The Bengals are 3.5-point road favorites at the Tampa Bay Bucks. 1 week, Tom Brady can't do anything, and then in 20 seconds scores 2 touchdowns and wins. And the next week he comes back and gets blown out, scores 0. They're back home this week. Will there be any difference?
Cincinnati's won 5 in a row. Burrow, they had a bad half, but then they turned it on and beat Cleveland last week. I think Cincinnati's going to win. Brady played about as poorly as the quarter. He played horribly last week. He's 45 years of age. I mean, it's probably time now. I'm taking Cincinnati covering, and it's a pretty low number also. So I think I might go over because I think Cincinnati will score 30, even though the Bucs do not have a bad defense whatsoever. But again, the bottom line is Brady's not what he was. And I know he can lead them back if they're close at the end. I don't think they're going to be close in the end. I'm going with the Bengals.
I agree with you. I think Brady's done. I think the Bucs are done. A home team here isn't going to matter. Cincinnati, they've got their verve back. They've got it back now. They were in the Super Bowl last year. They're a great team with a great quarterback. They're just now gelling. The line movement from 2.5 to 3.5, where it skipped right over 3, was the indicator for me. I'm going to take Cincinnati. I'm going to lay the 3.5. If we're lucky, it'll get back down to 3 at some point. People love to bet Tampa Bay, as they did last week, and no matter how bad they get beat. So I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals here. I think the over's a good play too. We know that they'll put some points on the board against Cincinnati. Brady will. But the simple fact is he is old. He is frustrated. He is, I don't know about this new TMX Bitcoin fraud that he helped promote and his wife helped promote. That's going to be weighing on both of their minds, his and hers. And that's a lot of money dangling in the air. He probably shouldn't have promoted that crap. And I think all of these problems, the divorce, everything is starting to weigh on Brady now. And he wants to take it out on everybody else on the team. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work anymore. Before I end this commentary, however, I want to say that Tom Brady made the New England Patriots what they were. He made them into championship caliber team they were. Belichick is just a simple coach who takes no chances and plays basic football and has the ability to teach fundamentals. Tom Brady was one hell of a player for 20 years. That guy goes into the Hall of Fame immediately. I think he should quit and ride on his laurels. So me too, I'm going with Cincinnati Bengals. And I think we can walk away with a big win here. Okay, talking about something a little bit different here. I wanted to mention, we mentioned last year all the time, the football contest here in Las Vegas to pay $1 million and $500,000 and $35,000 every 3 weeks, etc. I have to say this about this year's football season. The Survivor contest is already over, where last year, 5 people made it to the last week of the season before they were knocked out of the Survivor contest. So there's 31, the Survivor contest in all of the small local casinos are all finished. The only one left is the huge one for $6 million at the Circa. There are 31 entries left for that $6 million. So at this season, at this time last year, there were 3,000 people still alive with 4 weeks to go in the season. There are only 31 left, 31 left now. That being said, the total people in first place in these contests are hovering around 60%. Last year, I hit 60% and ended up in tie for 23rd place. This year, 60% going to put you in the top 5. So without COVID, without everything, there's a huge discrepancy in the lines, in the way the turnout of the games is happening. And I think I found some of the key to it is all the money bet through DraftKings and FanDuel on the East Coast and throughout the country, always on inflated lines, always with inflated juice. And that has made a little bit of difference in the overall of it overall. So if you're going to be a professional and an expert, you need to know these kind of things ahead of time, not after the fact. So I hope I'm giving people information that's valuable to you when you look ahead to pick these games. Fred, any comments?
No, I agree, but it's also been a crazier than normal season. The comebacks, we talk about the Chiefs being up 27-0 and they don't cover, things like that. I mean, it's been crazier than normal season in 2022. So obviously it's more difficult in a survivor contest when things like this happen, or Brady leading them back with a few seconds to go, or certainly Mayfield last week, the miracle at SoFi. More of these have happened this year. And it's been very stupid play sometimes on the defense that allowed the offense to keep going. When you knock a ball out of the quarterback's hand, what are you thinking? I mean, the whistle's blown. It's 10 seconds later. The quarterback's handing the ball to the referee, and you're a defender. You knock the ball out of his hand. Now, come on. It's stupid play, too, that allowed this to happen. Bottom line is, it's been a nutty season. I've enjoyed it. You've enjoyed it. Everybody's enjoyed it. And that's all I can say.
Yeah, it has been a nutty season. And I don't think we've had this poor quality of coaching in a long time either. The new coaches are not good. They're not experienced the way I see it. And the older coaches just sticking to their old place, their old playbook, like Andy Reid. You can pretty much figure them out as you go. So, but yeah, it has been a crazy season. And I look for the last couple of weeks of the season to be even crazier, because once the fields are set for the playoffs, why, then it's all over. It's back to preseason again. No sense wasting your money guessing. So I do want to make a reminder here, and everybody set your channel for the next 2 weeks. We're going to have a special about the bowl games. All right. The college bowl game special will be starting next week, and it'll run through the bowl season up till January 2nd. Fred and I will be here to capture the top games for you, give you the analysis, the point spreads, and some selections. So stay with us for sure. The last 2 weeks here, we're going to be taking on the bowl games, and we hope we can put some money in your pocket. So for Fred and Alan Jett back in the studio in Tennessee, this is Dennis Tobler signing off of another Football Forecast Weekly and another successful season.